Assalamu alaikum, my lovely crafters. This year I have got some really stunning projects to share with you for your Eid crafting. They will really elevate your tablescapes, and also they're pretty timeless, so keep them safe and you can reuse them year after year. Or if you want to, why not even keep them on display in your house all year round? I have shared Ramadan and Eid projects on this channel before, so take a look at this playlist if you want more inspiration. In this video, I'm going to be sharing how to make this really gorgeous Garba lantern. This, I think, would be the perfect table centerpiece. We're also going to be making a decorative tray and then some little Garba themed favor boxes. I will be using my Cricut machine for the Garba lantern and the wooden decorative tray. You don't really need a Cricut machine for the favor boxes if you buy the boxes pre-cut from somewhere like Amazon. Let's start with the decorative tray. Now, I picked up this wooden chopping board from B&M for £4, and then I designed a vinyl decal for it in Cricut Design Space. I have linked the project that I designed for you, and because I'm so nice, what you will find in there is a template for using a circular wooden chopping board, rectangular, square, and also this weird hybrid shape that I bought where it's got a rectangular shape but also has curved edges. I don't know why I always go for the most complicated thing. All you need to do is to click and drag the image to be the correct size for the chopping board that you're going to be using. And obviously you could also use this as a decal on like a mirrored tray. It doesn't have to just be a wooden chopping board. I just really liked the look of the wood with the white decal on top. Assembling this project is super easy. You just have to cut the design on your Cricut machine. I used Adhesive Vinyl, and when the cut is done, put on your favorite podcast and just enjoy the process of weeding out all the negative pieces. Now, as usual with an Adhesive Vinyl project, we will now need to apply some transfer tape on top of this design. The way that I like to do it is to cut my transfer piece to the size that I need, then I peel back the backing of the transfer tape by maybe 1 or 2 inches, and then I will apply this bit to the edge of my design. This is called the hinge method because what we formed here is a kind of hinge, and what we can do is now slowly remove the remainder of the backer of the transfer tape while sliding your hand along the top to lay the tape down onto the design. If you do need more detail on exactly how we work with Adhesive Vinyl, then I've got a whole video about that, so just check the description for that. Now that the transfer tape is nicely laid on top of the design, we have to use a scraper tool to burnish it into place, which just means that there's a strong bond between the tape and the vinyl decal. I also flip the whole thing and then burnish from behind as well. And now just gently peel away the lining of the vinyl decal. I do this at a 45-degree angle to get the liner away from the vinyl without bringing the vinyl with it. This is my favorite tip for applying a vinyl decal onto a blank, especially when you're using something large like we are, or even when you're layering different colors. Go to your kitchen and grab some greaseproof paper. Trust me, this does work. What you'll do is cut that baking paper to the size of your decal and then just lay it on top of it. And as this is non-stick, you can really easily remove it, and we're going to use this to help us align our design onto our blank. If we were to go straight onto the blank without this, then if you slightly misplace it, then there's no coming back from that, I'm afraid. Whereas with the greaseproof paper, and also because it's see-through, we can see our blank, we can see the design, and we can get the placement just perfect. I've also used a hinge method here, so I have placed the greaseproof paper with 1 inch or so of my vinyl decal exposed, and this part of it will be sticky. So I can place this part down on my tray and then gently remove the greaseproof paper and get the vinyl decal into place. The last step is to again use your scraper tool and burnish the design to make sure it's got a nice bond with the wooden tray. And when you're happy, just gently peel away the transfer tape. Now, when I did this project, I did find that my vinyl wasn't sticking to the wood that nicely. It was kind of lifting off a bit. This might have been because I was using quite an old piece of adhesive vinyl, and hopefully you wouldn't have this trouble. But I got around it by really slowly peeling away my transfer tape. And once I was done, I also put a heavy box onto my tray and left it overnight. And by the morning, it was completely fine and the vinyl has stuck to the wood really beautifully. The other option, if you do have an easy press, is to cut the whole project with heat transfer vinyl and then use the Cricut Heat app to tell you exactly what temperature and timings that you need to apply the decal onto your wooden chopping board. This design is so gorgeous, I'm really loving it. Do remember that it is a display piece only. You can't now use this to chop food on, it's not food safe anymore. But we don't care because it looks so beautiful. The second project I want to share with you is a really stunning option for a table centerpiece, and it is this Garba lantern. I have again shared the project in Design Space for this in the description, so you can find it there. This piece is really easy to assemble. It takes a little bit of time on your Cricut machine to cut the design because I just love the lattice look, and so it takes a while for all those little bits to be cut out. But hopefully you can see from the end result that it really is worth the wait. I have used a black cardstock. I would suggest not using something that's very thick because it just becomes harder for the machine to cut and a little bit harder for us to assemble. But I actually did use something quite thick, and it was still fine. Having been through it, I would suggest to you find a black cardstock that is not very thick. You will also need some gold glitter cardstock. I've gone for one that's a little bit more rose gold than yellow gold, but obviously you choose which color you like best. Some tips for when you cut this design. I would use the heavy cardstock setting in Cricut Design Space, especially if you are using a thicker cardstock. And you might find, like I did, that once the cut is complete and you've removed the pieces from your mat, when you flip them over, actually it looks much neater. If you are using a thicker cardstock, it's very likely that the top side of it will get a few frayed edges as the cut proceeds. But because this is a symmetrical design, we can just flip over the pieces and we can use them like that, and it just looks a lot nicer. Assembling this is very simple. The first step would be to lay out the 4 pieces that will be the sides of the garba, and then grab the 4 equally sized rectangles that we've cut out of the gold glitter cardstock. I'm going to use these to sort of be the decoration that you see on the cover of the garba, but the way I want to do it is to apply them to the inside of the box so that you just see them kind of peeking through the lattice design. So make sure you've placed your pieces that are the sides of the box with the inside facing upwards towards you, and then you can lay the gold strips on top and align them all in place and then glue them. And then don't forget that you've got another piece which is to represent the door. Double check you're aligning it properly. From the outside, when you look at the box, it should be on the left of one of the sides. I've used their Barely Art glue, and actually I have these acrylic stamps that I bought when I was really into embossing. And they work really well for pressing the pieces into place if you don't want to get your fingers all covered in glue. You will need to leave the glue to set for a few minutes, but once it's done, this glue is actually really good. I've linked it in the description. It's good because it sticks really well, but also it doesn't leave a residue and it dries kind of clear. So even if it spills over the edges of it, no one's going to see it in the finished project. Next, grab all of the join pieces and fold these along the score lines. I decided to start with the roof of the garba and attach all of the 4 joining pieces onto that bit first. Next, you want to apply the join pieces onto the sides of the garba. So again, lay them all out next to each other and just make sure that you apply the join piece on the same side of each one. So either they're all going on the left or they're all going on the right. Now you just have to attach everything together. I found that when I was adding on the second wall, the easiest way to do this was to glue it to the roof piece and to the other wall side piece at the same time, and just rotate your piece so that you can place it onto your table surface to be able to apply pressure. I really love this piece. I think it just looks so stunning as a table centerpiece, and I probably will put it on display in the house during the rest of the year because it just is such a nice piece, and I enjoyed putting it together and I'd enjoy seeing it in the house. The last project I'm sharing is definitely the easiest one to make. It's these little garba themed boxes. There is a design in Cricut Design Space for cutting a simple cube box, which I'll link in the description. So if you want to do that, then go ahead and cut as many favors as you need. Otherwise, just have a look on Amazon. I will link in the description as well some options of just simple black cubes. And if you can't find black, then just buy the plain ones and paint them black. Now I tried 2 different ways of finishing off these boxes, and I actually love them both. So I suggest maybe you guys also do both and have them both in your display because I think they both look lovely. So the first one is I bought some sequin trim and I just hot glued this around the box. And my other option was that I bought some self-adhesive diamante strips. For both of these designs, to kind of finish off and put an element that sort of looks like the door, I bought some scrapbooking stickers that I've linked in the description, and then I just placed them on. And the thing that I love most about this particular project is that, especially if you go for the self-adhesive diamante strips, you can just get the kids to sit down and make these for you. So there you have it, my ideas for Eid crafting this year. If you do make any of these projects, please tag me on Instagram at Rabia Khans. I really get so much happiness when I see that you guys have made a project that I've designed. Remember to check out this playlist of my other Eid and Ramadan crafts. Wishing you guys all Eid Mubarak, and until next time, happy crafting!